So as soon as the train, you started, you knew he was bullshitting. Free lunch delivery of your choice in the whole office. If the whole office is in by 9:30 that day, yeah. The thing is, like, what works with that sort of situation where you have people abusing a system, instead of canceling the system and punishing everybody, just grow a pair of balls and go up to that person and say, "Hey, asshole, show up for work or don't." And but it really was just that the management just couldn't couldn't confront people. You couldn't make any single person wrong. You know, you can't just. That's just mean. That's not a nice thing to do. And we're a nice, we're all nice people here. And it's like, no, we're fucking not. Let's stop pretending that we are. Like that guy over there is a piece of dead weight. All right. Though some of that works though, like using peer pressure to like that's what the military will do or whatever, right? If you're lagging behind, cash common results. The whole platoon has to keep running or do push-ups or whatever, and then but they don't do it like in the open. They're like, oh man, recruit dumbass over there just made everybody do push-ups, and then they go kick his ass back at the barracks. um, you know but you have to, but even then it's like it's all public. They're actually dealing with the problem head on instead of just, well, some people in the office haven't been washing their hands, so we're just gonna have some dispensers for our so hand sanitizer spread throughout the office. People should wash their hands. It's just like, no, just be like, dude, Joel, you motherfuckers, wash your hands, you asshole. I saw you leave without it. Just do it. And you just ridicule him publicly. You go, he's like grabbing a plate of chips at the Beer Friday, and everybody shares the same bowl of pretzels, and you're like, oh man, Joel touched the bowl of pretzels. That sick bastard probably didn't wash his hands. Y'all getting the Black Death. And then everybody looks at Joel and says, dude, what the fuck? And then, he goes and washes his hands, and then he goes home early, and then he quits his job because he's a dirty bastard. That guy. 3 weeks later. People show up at noon or work from home. Oh, that sucks. Yeah. That's like one time at EA2D. Basically, what people would do is, it was supposedly crunch time, so we needed to get our game out the door, Dragon Age Legends. So, of course, they start doing the meal service for people that are working. You won't be shaking anybody's hand. Well, don't worry. You don't shake hands with people. Actually, you do. Don't worry about it. Just the trick is to have so much alcohol in your system that it kills everything, including you, by the end of the week. So we had dinner service going, and that was cool. So people that stayed and till 8 o'clock or whatever would get a decent meal, which it's usually a pretty shitty meal. But so of course, I think it was like the first or second Friday where we had this thing going. There was like a movie that came out. So what everybody in the office did, since normally there were only like 2 or 3, maybe 4 people out of 40 or 50 actually, taking advantage of this get dinner service and all that stuff. So what happened is, since a new movie came out, there's like literally 30 people got dinner. So, the vice president stayed behind because he's like, oh man, 30 people are staying tonight. This is great. I'm going to stay too and, support the effort for getting the new stuff going. And so, dinner shows up, everybody starts eating it, everybody's having a good time, and it's like a big we'll do all this cool stuff. At least that's what the vice president thought, like, oh, what a great team, everybody's pitching in and burning the oil, getting all this cool shit done. I didn't even have to ask him to do this. 5 minutes later, everybody leaves and goes and sees, random new movie that came out, and it's just me and like Ivan sitting in the office. And the vice president guy was, watching like some video or, reading some important email or some shit, and he looks up and he's like, where the fuck did everyone go? They were here 5 minutes ago. What happened? It's just like, dude, they went to go see a movie. He's just like, is this real? I'm like, yeah, those guys are all jerks. You didn't know that? I was like, yeah, I knew they were jerks, but I didn't know it was this bad. It's like, yeah. So and then of course he handled it well. He just like sent out an email to everybody. He's like, the next time that happens, like, don't come back. Like, if you're not going to stay and work and you order dinner, like, you're getting talked to. And then nobody did it again. As opposed to, I bet if we were at Amazon, what would have happened is they would have just canceled dinner for everybody. So like, well, people are taking advantage of the dinner system, so we're not going to have dinner for people anymore because of that. So, yeah, that's the thing now. Assholes. And actually, I didn't eat the dinner anyway because, like, well, actually, I would get the dinner when it was something good, but the problem with a lot of those dinner services is they don't get you the food very quickly, and people make. So you'd be like, all right, we're gonna get burgers from this one place for stuff. I'll get some fries, and you're like, the fries are all soggy, the burgers like got congealed. Like the cheese on the burger is now not like actual nice cheese to eat. It's like all stupid hard cheese that you're like, ugh. Why? So that was always one of those things. It was like, do I really want to order this dinner? Because I could just walk across the street to the supermarket and actually get something good. Yeah. And I wouldn't worry about the people at the GDC conference. Really, I would worry about the people outside the GDC conference because it's in the middle of San Francisco, right? So there's a lot of homeless dudes. So if you're worried about the people, you should be worried about them people, and making sure you wash your hands when you get back to that hotel room after touching that dirty cross street button or something. Alright, so let's boot this thing up again and make sure that it assumes the app server roles and does everything else. Registered master has now hardbeated, attempting to seize master status for relay, attempting to assume master role, attempting to assume app server master role, now assuming successfully assumed app master. Yes, good. Going to grab food. Well, we're going, I guess we're staying at a hotel that actually has like a working elevator, so that's a thing. Creating new interval for online daily. Oh shit, it worked. It's now Friday over here. And we just made a new stat list for our dailies. Hell yeah. we got the new daily stat intervals. So this is going to be select from this group by what do we actually have for this stats master? Get from where interval. Alright, yeah, okay, so interval group by, yeah, okay, cool. Select from where interval context equals online and interval name equals daily, ordered by start time, descending, limit 1. So let's check our start time and our end time with our values. Friday, March 16th at midnight versus Friday, March 16th at 1 second before midnight of the 17th. Excellent. So our intervals are set properly. Yes. So let me look at our giant diagram of diagrams. So we now have intervals, stats, stat history, results, everything. We also have our leaderboards. We figured out our stat stuff. We have... I don't think we're going to actually clean out any of these stats. We're going to see how much data we actually end up accumulating in these tables. And we'll see how that goes before we start pruning stuff. So the next things that I'll be working on is going to be like the mission system on the client and the mission data structures, the editor flow, and the tools for that. So like actually user stats, everything else theoretically is finished. So let me take a look at my sprint. Yeah, okay, so I can mark all this stuff off. I actually had a lot marked. And this is marking off on Thursday, alright. So I had really rough estimates for this, so it's really throwing off my numbers. I thought this would take longer than it has, so that's cool. But that's a really good stopping point for me. Like, the back end is finished for missions and stats for now. And so be like, are there any other back end things that I really want to do? Not really. So what I should do is I should push this out to the test environment. I think I already set up the databases for the test environment. Do they have stats on the test database? No, I opened up the wrong database. Alright, I do have stats. These are intervals, results, result history, stats. I think everything is actually set up properly with these columns and everything else, so I think test is good, so go ahead and push this out to test. So let's check everything in. How do we change the enums, but oh, whatever. So I need to build that thing. So let's kick that off. That should only take a minute. So what else is going on? So I think I'm probably going to call it early here today after I get all this done. So probably about 15 minutes and I will be finished for today, which is good. Just like a quick day today, but that's fine. It is now Friday and I've gotten a lot done this week. So I'm just waiting for this thing. While I am waiting, I guess I can make sure that we didn't break anything in the C++ land. Alright, looks like it's deleting a whole bunch of stuff. Alright, now it will actually build. I've actually got a pretty decent Java build system as well. Like a lot of Java systems have just a mess of dependencies, and you're relying on like Gradle and Maven and the devil himself to actually like build your project. But for me, I've actually got a pretty decent setup. In that I do something which is completely blasphemous. I check in my binary dependencies instead of resolving them from some fucking server somewhere and automatically taking point releases. And you know what that does? It means I'm not broken when a point release doesn't actually do what a point release is supposed to do. Like, those point releases aren't supposed to break things. They're not supposed to, minor releases are just supposed to fix bugs instead of, break your entire project. And of course, I have never had that happen. You don't trust other devs? Yeah, exactly. I trust other devs that are like on my team. Sure, I'll trust those yahoos, but when it's when it's somebody with like some ridiculous Java system, like, oh well, we depend on the the library from this one open source dude who is in China, who or whatever, and that person updates their stuff, and then all of a sudden your dependency breaks. Just oh, they upgraded their logging system, so now they use version 2.0 of Sylph4j, and now your logging system just fucking explodes, or refuses to compile, but only for one of your projects. What is this? Error in service discovery 503. Looks like our test stuff is down. Why are you down, test environment? Let's go take a look at you. Okay, so this thing, is it actually running? Oh, it's still running. So why is this all pissed off? Get service, backend service is at capacity. What? What? Oh, shit. We just did a build, didn't we? Deploy Dashkin services happened 3 minutes ago. Okay, cool. I was like, what the fuck? Test is down. Why is test down? Oh, yeah, that's because the test environment literally restarts when at midnight when we automatically deploy to it. Alright, so I need to sync the configs in the local environment. And I need to sync configs in the test environment. Yeah, and Java dependencies get really, really stupid. So when people depend on libraries, you know, like we only depend on these libraries. And that's actually not that many for a Java project. You know, you can actually put them on one screen as opposed to having like 400 million layers. For instance, the giant, massive build system for Java processes at Amazon, which is called Apollo, is like a full rebuild of everything takes like forever. It's so massive that it's just a train wreck. It's amazing because your Java project should take, you know, like seconds to compile. You know, it should be able to a full build and like package into a single jar that's perfect and standalone and works. For us, takes about 90 seconds, and most of that is actually zipping the code up into like the 70 meg, 60 meg standalone artifact. But actually compiling a project, it's like a couple seconds, or you know, less for a development build. But theirs is like, oh yeah, it's gonna take, it's gonna be tomorrow. And you're like, what the fuck? This isn't a C++ application. Why does it take that long? Like, well, you know, we gotta compile all these libraries and resolve all these dependencies and do all this crap. And you're like, how many dependencies are there? It's like, well, about 5,000. Because not only takes 10 minutes on dev instances, yeah. And the thing is, it's not just the dependencies for like their Java processes, because their entire build system and all these things are so integrated with everything that it'll have to upgrade to like a specific version of Python, and then it also requires Iron Python, and then it also requires Perl, and it also requires, you know, like Ruby on Rails in order to build a Java project, because so many different scripts rely on so many different versions of everything that it's just impossible. So, you know, and it's such a, and once those monsters get rolling in a corporate environment and, you know, they're critical systems, just, it's never going to get undone. You know, just burn it all down and start all over again. It's the only solution. Alright, so I'm deploying this thing out to this dude. So let me see. So let's see how the server's rolling along. Yeah, it's always been one of my big things when running a team is that it has to take like less than it needs to take less than 5 minutes for you to actually deploy something to the dev environment. Like from build, whatever, it needs to be as fast as possible. Otherwise, just no. All right, so let's go look at our platform. So user intervals. The intervals don't exist yet. Let's look at our master. Our master registration has happened. We are in the test environment. So we're going to need to wait and see if those intervals get created. All right, creating new interval for online all time, seasonal, monthly, weekly, daily. Registered master is not heartbeated. Now assuming master role. Okay, so we had to assume the master role. We shouldn't have had to reassume it. I think it's fine. I think that was just a thing. Okay, so intervals are all there. Let's double check our test environment is up and running. Yes, I can sign in. Oh yeah, our test game server's still online. I need to go turn that the hell off. Let's go shut that off, save us a little bit of money. I can tell that game server's still running because there's telemetry data from it coming in. Linux dedicated game servers, stop. Excellent. So that's all working. So we've deployed to test and all of our stats are out there and our intervals are running, and I should be greeted with more daily intervals as they go along and everything's cool. So that is the finished for today, I believe. So awesome. Cool, so I'm done. So I will be finished then. So thanks for sticking around, and I hope you enjoy your day. I'm probably gonna go figure out, probably go do some GDC stuff. So thanks for sticking around, and have a good night.